Elon Local News. The government shutdown continues, how our community is feeling the effects.
Also, construction coming to a popular parking lot. We'll tell you what that means for Elon drivers.
And later on in the show, we'll take you to the gym to introduce you to one Elon student who has more than just a passion for fitness. Your campus, your news. Good evening, Elon. I'm Alex Rose.
And I'm Brenna McDavid. All that and more tonight on Elon Local News.
There's still no end in sight for when the government will reopen, and with the debt ceiling quickly approaching, everyone's eyes are on Congress.
The most recent development happened Friday. The House passed a bill guaranteeing more than 800,000 furloughed federal workers pay once they return to work. But the halls of Congress are still empty.
And some members of the Elon community are feeling the effects. Our Eric Halprin has the story.
Washington, D.C. is 300 miles away from campus, but the impact of the government shutdown is being felt by some members of the Elon community. Junior Katie Blunt is one of those students.
I kind of want to lay the groundwork for future research there this weekend. That's what I was counting on.
She planned on doing research this weekend for her Lumen project at the Library of Congress, but government shutdown forced her plans to change.
So to not have access this weekend would set me back considerably.
But Blunt isn't the only Elon student affected by the shutdown. Elon senior Peter Caceres' dad is out of work while the Department of Housing and Urban Development in D.C. is closed.
He's helping people find houses, and so a lot of people that are below the poverty line find houses, and he really takes a lot of pride in his work, and it's what he thinks is really, really important. And now that he can't even go into the office to try to work on to help these people.
Caceres has more than just his family to worry about. Some of his close friends live in D.C. and work with the government.
They haven't been online, they haven't really been messaging, they haven't been around because they've just been so struggling trying to figure out what they're going to do next.
One of his friends is Elon alumnus Thomas Berry. He graduated from Elon last spring and works for the Department of Transportation. Even though he's on mandatory paid vacation, he worries about what will happen next.
Kind of everything from the nuts and bolts of just running the DOT on a daily basis to the projects, it's all just going to be pushed back, delayed, and not done at an optimal level, I don't think.
There's no foreseeable end to when this shutdown will be over, and in the meantime, the projects are on hold. Eric Halprin, Elon Local News.
If you want to voice your concerns about the government shutdown or get your questions answered, there will be an on-campus panel discussion tomorrow evening at 5:30 in Lindner 102. The panel will be led by political science professors, and one of the main points of discussion is the debt ceiling. If the battle in Congress doesn't resolve itself by mid-October, they might not come to an agreement on the debt ceiling either. That means the government will run out of money. Tune in to ELN in the morning tomorrow at 9:50 a.m. for other ways the debt ceiling debate is affecting the Elon community.
The shutdown's effects stretch beyond the Elon bubble into the Burlington community. If the shutdown continues, there could be long-term effects on where some North Carolinians get their food. I spoke with one nonprofit less than 30 minutes from Elon's campus that is preparing for what could happen if the shutdown continues.
Our area here, the Piedmont Triad area, ranks number 4 nationally in terms of metropolitan areas facing food insecurity.
Greensboro Urban Ministry is a nonprofit that provides food for people in the Triad. Right now, the ministry serves an average of 430 meals per day, but if federal funding runs out, the organization believes the demand could increase up to 20 times that amount.
Very simply put, there is no way we can increase our services at that amount.
Even though nonprofits help people in the community, the government plays a bigger role.
Out of 24 bags of groceries that might be given to people in need, only one of those bags is provided by a nonprofit agency.
The other 23 bags are provided by federal funding. Women, Infants, and Children, more commonly known as WIC, is one program that will be affected if the government shutdown continues. That means less food options for some people in North Carolina.
To be frank with it, pisses me off. I hate to use some type of words, but the people out here shouldn't have to suffer for what the government is doing.
If the government remains shut down, local Burlington residents like Nikki Darman are worried the food banks won't be enough. Her 19-year-old daughter is a member of WIC and has 2 infant children.
You got to find some kind of way of feeding your child. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what people are result to.
Greensboro Urban Ministries has already received calls from concerned mothers on WIC who are worried their vouchers will not come next month if the government remains shut down. Urban Ministries has already seen a 50% increase in clients because of unemployment rates over the summer. If the government shutdown continues through October, they expect their number of clients to skyrocket.
While the triad could feel the impact if the shutdown stretches through October, let's look at how it's already affecting the Tar Heel State. 336 North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services workers were furloughed. The DHHS did issue a statement saying food stamps will still be distributed through the month of October. The effects don't end there. According to Executive Director of the Great Smoky Mountains Association, North Carolina and Tennessee are losing roughly $3,500 in sales tax revenue every day while the Great Smoky National Park is closed.
Fall break begins this Friday, and as you get ready to fill up your tank, here's what you can expect at the pump. You have two options for the cheapest gas in town. Head on over to the Citgo on West Haggard Avenue and University Drive, or the Quality on West Webb Avenue, to fill up for $3.21 a gallon. If you want the closest option, the Kangaroo on Haggard doesn't cost too much more, with $3.24 a gallon. The gas prices in Elon cost less than the average across North Carolina of $3.26.
Well, you might be able to fill up your car now, but you might not have a spot to park it when you come back from fall break. Our Carly Hilliard joins us live with what changes are coming to one of the main parking lots on campus. Carly?
And Brennan, you've seen construction all over campus in the past few months, and starting in less than 2 weeks, bigs are coming right here to the Mosley Center parking lot. It will be home to the future Inman Admissions Center. Director of Construction Management, Brad Moore, says Elon will start fencing the area during break. Construction will begin on October 18th and can last up to 14 months. But if nearby the construction site, don't worry. Workers will only be there from 7 in the morning to 7 at night due to the noise. There will be a new lot built north of the Admissions Center to replace this one. It'll hold about 50 spaces for visitors and 20 for students. Moore says we can definitely expect this current space different. There will be a new green lawn and a new walking path that connects Young Commons to KOB. Campus security will be in charge of where students can park before and during the construction process. I reached out to them to hear their plan, but haven't heard anything back. You can be sure we'll keep it as we find out more. Live at Mosley, I'm Carly Hilliard, Elon Local News.
Coming up, it's been feeding the local community since before Elon opened. Find out how one old farm is staying in business.
They get excited, they get shocked, or they get very surprised and happy about it.
Day-to-day affairs of a man who handled a country next.
And the show must go on. Elon's fall play is still on stage. Find out how a bedroom and a computer helped put it there. When Apple co-founder Steve Wozniak spoke at Convocation last week, he talked about his involvement in starting up the technology giant. Here to give you tips on how to start up a business of your own is our college consumer, Cash Armstrong.
If you're interested in starting your own business, I have some tips. First, be patient and be prepared to get a little frustrated. It can take months to get your business properly registered and off the ground. However, before you put in the effort, make sure to talk out your business idea with close friends and family to get some feedback. If your idea is a good one, these people will be your first investors. And remember, make sure your idea is unique. The biggest mistake many entrepreneurs make is creating a business that's already been done. So make sure you do your research beforehand. Another big tip for starting your own business is to explore the industry before you want to be in. Make sure you understand exactly what you're getting yourself into and get as many perspectives on the industry as possible. The next step is taking advantage of what's available to you at Elon. The Doherty School of Entrepreneurial Leadership and Corey Business Center is a great place to start. They offer walk-in sessions where professionals will critique your business ideas. When the moment comes to execute your business plan, websites like LegalZoom and bizfling.com will supply you with an easy-to-follow application process. That's all for this week's College Consumer. I'm Cash Armstrong.
While some students are starting new businesses on campus, others are starting a new life. Our Elizabeth Cantlander found one Elon student who left a job with a powerful leader to come to Elon in search of higher education.
I took English classes when I was in 6th grade, and by the time I graduated high school, I was like, I'm ready, I should go on.
Senior Tuliali Fazli always knew he wanted to study in the United States, but his family struggled financially in his home country of Afghanistan.
Not only me, majority of Afghans had, but we came out of the civil war and out of the war actually, and then most of families had lost everything that they had, but everyone had some kind of financial problems.
To support his family, Fazli found work with a well-known Afghan.
I found a job with Office of the President of Afghanistan, and I work for President of Afghanistan directly as a scheduler.
His main duty was scheduling President Hamid Karzai's everyday activities.
Handling his daily activities and who he meets, where he goes, what he does, and what time he gets off or free time to rest.
Fazli says people are usually surprised when they hear about his old job.
It was a job I did, and I have been told by my friends or by people that I tell them that I worked for Office of the President, and they tell me like, why you would say that very casually.
The experience of working with President Karzai helped Fazli decide what he wants to do with his life. He's an international studies major and hopes to bring what he learns at Elon back to Afghanistan.
Everyone has a goal, but how you get to your goal, that's a different story. But my goal or my plans are to go back home and to work for people back there.
Elizabeth Caitliner, Elon Local News.
Fazli says though he's not sure where he will work when he returns to Afghanistan, he plans to bring the same humble attitude to his next job.
In just 10 minutes from Elon's campus, one farm has been in business for more than 200 years. Our Sky Cowens has the story.
But we're still here, and it's going to be here.
Jane Isley's family has owned Isley Farms for 5 generations.
I've got some great-great-great-great-grandparents that are buried here on the farm.
Even though farming has always played a big part in her life, Isley didn't start until she was 34. Before her father died, she learned the skills needed to keep the family business going.
And I can tell you exactly where we were standing. I said, okay, Daddy, how do I do this? And he was standing there at the end of the field with his walker, and he handed me the walker, and he said, I'll do it.
Isley says that farming has now become a way of life.
You don't do it for quantity of life. You're not going to get rich doing it, but each day is different.
Her hard work on the farm has paid off. Tomorrow, Isley Farms will be named North Carolina's Conservation Farm Family of the Year.
It's the first time Alamance County has ever won one of the awards, so we're really pleased about it.
Isley says one thing that makes her farm stand out is their commitment to the preservation of natural resources, and she's noticed a growing trend of people wanting to buy locally grown food.
And they want to know where their food came from. They want that relationship with the farmers. And so agriculture is very fortunate that that's happened.
Isley Farm might grow strawberries, tobacco, and tomatoes, but for October, it's all about the pumpkin.
The kids come, they're happy. I love to mess with pumpkins because every one of them is different.
Isley says it's things like these pumpkins that keep bringing families in the area together. Sky Cowens, Elon Local News.
If you want to go pumpkin picking, because I know I do, Isley Farms is open from 10 to 6 Monday through Saturday and 1 to 5 on Sunday.
Isley Farm is just one of Elon's local businesses, but on Saturday, Elon students had the chance to get to know others. Elon Community Church hosted Welcome to the Neighborhood, where local businesses and artists came to show off their creations. The 3-hour event featured booths from local restaurants like the Piedmont Ale House, along with local painters and other artists.
It was exciting and really kind of scary, but I think it sounds pretty good.
He may be behind the scenes, but everyone who saw Children's Hour heard his work. Find out his story coming up.
One Elon student turned a tough time into an opportunity to make a difference.
After the break, our Tess McCurdy hit the gym and spoke with one student who made his workouts into a business plan.
15 students from the class of 2014 were awarded the Lumen Prize, a $15,000 scholarship that helps fund academic research. For one recipient, the money is more than just an opportunity to pursue undergraduate research. It's a chance to save lives.
Growing up, I saw my grandmother slowly succumb to Parkinson's disease.
Senior Andrew Fisher says when his grandmother started getting sick, it was hard to watch her struggle.
She first had to get a cane to help walk around. Then she got to a point where she wasn't able to drive anymore, and then got to a point where she wasn't able to walk anymore, and now she's in a chair.
That's when Fisher decided to help. He applied for the Lumen Prize his sophomore year to research how to fight the disease that hurt his family.
So coming into college, I was focused on that because I really wanted to make a difference in hers and others' lives.
His research looks at the clumping of proteins in Parkinson's, which is a factor that causes the disease. Along with the loss of physical functions, people with Parkinson's can lose their speech abilities and show signs of dementia.
I'm sure it's very frustrating to have your ability to move around and live be taken away from you, and there's nothing you can do about it.
He hopes his research will achieve the ultimate goal, a cure for Parkinson's.
I think there's lots of research, but what the field needs is some more creative angles to look at the disease, a real breakthrough to happen.
Fisher says the research isn't always easy, but his grandmother's strength keeps him motivated.
Research is always an uphill battle, and sometimes you run into different obstacles that make you think like, oh, I'm never going to come to a conclusion, or this is never going to work out. But kind of taking a page out of her book, in the face of things that seem difficult, she always keeps fighting, and that's something I try to do in my life as well.
Fisher says his dream is to practice medicine, and he hopes to continue his research after graduation.
Last week, we told you Colonnade's Dining Hall received a health score rating of 95 following a reinspection from their 82. We now know the reasons behind the 95. According to the health inspector, an employee was wearing gloves when he or she wiped their nose with the back of their hand and then proceeded to handle bananas. The dining hall was also docked points for having clean utensils stacked with other forks, spoons, and knives that may not have been cleaned. At last week's SGA meeting, Airmark told students they have nothing to worry about and the dining halls are safe. And now, while some students like Fisher spend their time doing research, others prefer to express themselves in the arts. Our Jason Puckett spoke to one student who makes plays come to life.
It's an unusual workspace.
Everything that's on the wall has a story. Everything that's on the desk has a story.
Books, movies, and Christmas lights set the tone.
I couldn't do any of this anyplace else.
But when Herbie Luttbeck sits in this computer chair, his room becomes a studio and his keyboard becomes an orchestra.
It's my happy place. Like, nothing can bother me, nothing is worrying me, and when I'm done doing that, hopefully I have something that sounds really good that I worked hard on. I like the bass part is really jumpy and fun, except here.
His musical work has been featured in a PBS documentary that was nominated for a regional Emmy Award. He also put together all the sound for Elon's fall play, The Children's Hour.
It was a little bit crazy because this was the first time I had done pretty much anything like this before. I just essentially walked up to a professor last year and was like, hey, I want to do this. Can I do this? And he said, yeah, you can do this. And I was like, great, so I'm doing it.
But Luttbeck hasn't always been a composer. He dabbled a bit in high school, but never wrote scores. That all happened this past year, right after he got permission from the dean to switch majors.
I told her that if you say no to me, I'll just be back here tomorrow. But if you say yes, you'll never hear from me again. And I don't think she's heard from me again.
For him, the most rewarding thing is seeing his vision played out.
It was really cool to see the audience react exactly how I wanted them to like one little thing.
Like this noise.
There's that sound in there, and I just wanted the audience to feel really awkward. And there were people looking around and like, doing this with their ears and covering their ears and going like, oh, making faces. It was awesome. I felt really good about that.
Jason Puckett, Elon Local News.
Did you hear that?
For more about Lutvak's work on the PBS special Shattered Silence, visit our website, elonlocalnews.com. But if you want to see his work in action, you can still see Children's Hour. It's a play about a lie that impacts the lives of two young school teachers. The play is at 7:30 tonight through Wednesday in the Black Box Theater in the Performing Arts Center.
And coming up after the break, I'm David Perel, and I'll walk you through what happened in sports this week. So take a look at the men's soccer game, and then I'll introduce you to one Elon student who is working on his career while working out. Thanks for tuning in to this ELN Sports Update. We're kicking off today with Elon men's soccer. The The team opened up conference play on Friday night to take on rival Appalachian State. We pick up the game early in the first half when App State threatened to score with this header, but Elon keeper Nathan Dean blocks the goal. Moving on to the 29th minute, Jason Waterman feeds James Brace, who puts the shot into the back of the net to give the Phoenix a 1-0 lead. In the second half, Elon looked to blow the game open, but couldn't do it when Matt Wesco's header sailed just wide of the post. In the final moments of the game, the Mountaineers looked to even the score, but Nathan Dean said no way. The Phoenix win with a final score of 1-0. Here's Nathan Dean on his performance.
To come out with the shutout, especially in the first game, it's such so important to set me up with a good base. But today, you know, I was involved right at the start, but after that, I was nearly a bystander. My team was so good in front of me today that really I had quite a quiet day, and that's perfect for me.
Student athletes aren't the only ones working on their careers while working out. Our Tess McCurdy found one student who turned the gym into an office.
So I'm always in the trainer's room, I'm always in physical therapy, I'm always surrounded by people in fitness. They seem to love their job, they're passionate about it. I realized it was something I wanted to do, something I wanted to study.
Elon sophomore Andrew Mitchell is a certified personal trainer of the American Council on Exercise. He recently founded And Fitness, his own personal training business.
September rolls around and all of a sudden I get on my page and there's over 5,000 people viewing my page and liking it. So it's all happened really quick.
Mitchell uses Facebook to stay in touch with his clients, both back at home in Cincinnati and here at Elon. He posts his signature workouts, inspirational quotes, and tips for staying in shape.
Anyone can work out, anyone can be fit, anyone can do an exercise and get good at it. But it takes real dedication and real discipline to motivate yourself.
Mitchell is a firm believer that a good workout can be done in just a few minutes.
10 minutes a day. So an hour and 10 minutes of a week out of 168 hours you can spend, benefiting yourself.
To prove his point, he showed me some of his favorite workouts. The ropes work your core and arms and quickly raise your heart rate.
You're gonna whip your arms straight up and down.
And it wasn't as easy as Mitchell made it look. He also showed me ladders and box jumps. After my workout, Mitchell convinced me that there's no excuse not to exercise.
A quick burst of energy, that's all it really takes to be fit and to just, be healthy and confident.
Tess McCurdy, Elon Local News.
Mitchell hopes to expand his business by studying exercise science and sport and event management here at Elon. Andrew Mitchell isn't the only one in the gym training. Men's basketball season is just around the corner, and preseason training started this week. The men are preparing for their opening day matchup against Lynchburg on November 4th. After winning more than 20 games last season, the Phoenix will return to the court with all of last year's starters. The team has one last shot to win the SoCon before making the switch to the Colonial Athletic Association in the 2014-2015 season. The pressure is on for the Phoenix as both ESPN and USA Today project a tournament bid for the Maroon and Gold. Be sure to follow Elon Local News throughout the season for highlights and analysis. And with the season fast approaching, one Elon basketball player is getting some online buzz. Popular sports blog Bleacher Report has released their list of the small school college basketball stars whose names you'll hear in March. On the list is Elon's own Lucas Troutman. The 6'10 senior led the SoCon last year in blocks with an average of 2.1 per game. He also finished 5th in scoring with an average of 15.1 per game. Troutman also comes into this year's season as part of CollegeInsider.com's preseason All-America team, which honors the top 25 of the nation's mid-major players.
And thanks, David. That's all the time we have for tonight's Elon Local News. ELN will be back in 2 weeks on the 21st.
In the meantime, be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. And check out our website, elonlocalnews.com, for all the latest Elon News updates.
And if you're awake tomorrow morning during college coffee, tune into ELN Morning on Channel 5 starting at 9:50.
From all of us here at Elon Local News, have a great week and have a great fall break.